So next we're going to talk a little bit about folder structure and how Meteor is responsible for taking all your files and placing them in the right place. So you noticed that in contrast for other like static front ends, we don't need to do any includes for our files somewhere on the head. Like Meteor does that for ourselves. And Meteor build process is doing that now. Meteor build process also takes everything that is inside the client folder and place them only into client, in the server folder and only into servers. Now, then another thing it does is that it loads first files that are inside the lib folder and all kinds of other rules that it follows through that you can read later on the tutorial. So right now, everything we're going to do is actually just we're going to sort our file structure into a more similar and understandable way, because placing all our logic in one file is not the best. Now, for best practices, there's two main ways of sorting your AngularJS files, and most of them are divided. So those two are: one is by Yeoman, which means that you're putting all your controllers in a controllers folder and all your views in a views folder. And the other way is to place them in by functionalities. So all of our parties will be under a parties folder, and now under that we'll place it under controllers and views. And I personally prefer that way. So this is what we're going to do right now. So let's do it. So we're not going to touch the code at all, just like move stuff around. So the first thing is, let's create a new client folder. Everything under that will be in client. So let's start with placing everything that is under client inside client. So the first thing we want to do is to load our AngularJS module, and we want it to be first. So we'll place it under a lib folder. And let's create a file called app.js and just take this code and place it here. Now let's create a file for our roots. So just let's call roots.js and move our routes declaration into that. Now let's move our controllers. So first, let's create a new folder. Let's call it parties. And under here, let's create a folder called controllers. And here, let's add a parties list controller.js and take our controller and just cut and paste it into here. And let's do the same for party details.js and take this controller and place it there. Now what's left is to take this file that can exist anywhere and should exist anywhere, also on the client, also on the server, and place it on our structure. So let's create a folder called model, which holds our data modules. Let's create a file called parties.js, which will define our parties model, and just paste this there. And then let's create a server folder that holds all the information about the server. So let's go into our app.js folder. We can do something like a startup folder that will start, and let's create a file called load parties.js. Let's move all the code inside here. We don't need the if statement anymore, and just paste it here. Let's remove this, and let's just delete that file altogether. Now, index.html is a client thing, so let's move it into client. The index.ng.html we don't use anymore. We can just delete it. And those two views are views of parties. So let's add a folder called views. And let's move those two into the... And if everything is okay, I did everything okay, everything should work, and I haven't changed any reference anywhere. Meteor is automatically goes through all my files and combines them together. So let's see if I've done everything right. So let's go here and here, refresh our page. Looks like there is a problem. Let's look. So, oh, I see why. We need to update, of course, our roots folder. So let's just write client views. And this should work. Let's test it again. Oh, of course, we have to add client views parties. Sorry, parties views. Right? Yeah. The same here. Let's try that. Refresh. Yeah, and we have everything working. Let's add new party. And this wasn't refreshed. Let's see. Oh, let's check here. Yeah, this is because we removed that. So now this is updated already, and now let's add a new party. It works seamlessly. Let's remove here, and it works. Going here, changing the name, updates. So other than a few of my mistakes, Meteor done a great job and took all of our folders and just place them into our app. Let's look how it looks. We can see here that first of all in the body, Meteor just placed everything that is in body into body. We haven't needed to do anything, and UI router took care of the rest. And inside head, Meteor added everything we need. Roots.js, parties.js, controllers, and lib.